Hey, it's Dan. Welcome back. This is iAllegedly, and I've got a good one for you today because we're going to talk about banking and banking stress tests and what that means. All the banks had this last week. We're going to cover it all. Please, before I get into it, take a second, hit the like button. Don't forget to comment on the video and also share it with everybody. And also hit the subscribe button, guys. Join us for all future videos as well. Major banking institutions this week had a federal stress test. And what that means is the monetary institutions have to be put under certain tests, especially since 2008, when the last banking crisis happened. Banks were put under these stress tests to see how they would handle a typical scenario. Unemployment, hurricane in the Caribbean. What would happen if there was a war in Africa? How would it affect banking? So they give these different scenarios, and then from that they determine if the banks are viable to continue lending and see how they're capitalized and see if they're going to withstand things like this. Now, this affects credit, it affects liquidity, it affects basically everything that a bank does to see if they can withstand this. Now, what's fascinating is that 33 of the major institutions here in the United States were put through this test in this last week. They sit down and said, basically, these banks could handle 10% unemployment, which, guys, I don't believe the unemployment numbers right now. For those of you that have been here on the channel, I believe that this is all ridiculous, that we're being told that unemployment's at a 4% range, and they're saying unemployment could go up 5.5% more. So I believe unemployment right now is above 10%. I do. I think it's much higher. They're also saying that we could see a 50% drop in stock market price, and it wouldn't affect the banks that much. Their liquidity and their capitalization right now, basically they would survive this at a 2.5% rate based on the cash that they have and depositors' money. Guys, banks don't have money in the bank. When you go to put money in the bank, they lend that out. They give it out and use it for other things to run that entity. It's a bottomless pit as far as I'm concerned. So to sit there and say that these places are capitalized, well, is ridiculous. Now, we've talked about this over the last few months. Which banks are in trouble? You got to look at certain things. Wells Fargo was sold off, by Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett has gotten rid of his investment in Wells Fargo. Why is that? Oh, because he's an imbecile, Dan. It's such a great institution. No, I think that they have problems at Wells Fargo. Now, the bank that did the worst out of all the major banks, out of 33 banks, was Bank of America. They said that they're the least capitalized and they would have the most problems if these scenarios took place. Now, again, guys, what I'm doing with this is to just tell you to prepare. You have to have a bank. You have to have an institution for online payments. You got to have credit cards. You got to have certain things to pay bills, okay? Now, you can run a cash, life. People do that, but how do you buy anything online, okay? Without a debit card. How do you do that? How do you pay for parking to come to a place like this without a card? You don't. You just don't. So you have to have it. Now, I always tell people, take a look at the stability of your investments. Take a look at the stability of the institution. ViStar Bank, which is a credit union, in Florida, they had a month, guys, where they did not have access to online banking and people's funds. And hey, I've got an article below. Should you stay with ViStar or should you leave? No, what are you, sniffing glue? Get out of there, guys, okay? Any of you that are sitting there contemplating if you should maintain a relationship where you can't get access to your money for a month, that is crazy. Now, 2 weeks ago, we talked about China and the bank runs that barely make it to the news. Now, here's the thing. Whether you call it news or not, CNN is talking about the Chinese bank runs now. And you've got smaller Chinese banks, not the big ones, but the smaller ones that are having problems, that have not let depositors get access to their money since April. Okay? Now, guys, that's China. Don't be stupid. This is America and it's totally different. Okay, well, you're finally starting to hear this now. Okay, when do you guys sit there and say, hey, if I didn't have access to my money since April, we'd have a problem? Okay, now some people have made arrangements, some people have multiple banks, some people have made it so that they don't have anything to worry about during this time. You got to answer those questions. Do you have, the ability to survive a month without getting access to your bank? This stress test scared the hell out of me this time, because the thing that was concerning was, hey, listen, everything looks good. You guys can issue more shares of stock. You guys can pay dividends. You're going to be able to do more share buybacks. That's the whole point of this thing. It's for the banks. It's not for you. It's for them to be able to fleece us and lend more money and do things within the banking system. Now, read all the articles below. There's a bunch of them, okay? And I'm putting a bunch of things together with this. But this should be very, very concerning right now. And again, everybody passed. Everybody can go about their day. Everybody can run these banks like there's no tomorrow. Okay? That's great. I'm in Laguna, and really overcast today, by the way. Beautiful. In June, you get these big fog patches here in certain areas of Southern California. And sunny all the way driving here. And then I get a mile from the resort, and it's just a fog bank, which I know people in the Midwest are like, that's not fog, Dan, that's a morning dew, so there's that. The banking system is got its own issues right now. Now, here's the funny thing. You're starting to see crypto lenders have problems, and we've talked about this in the past. People with cryptocurrencies have exchanges. These exchanges then take your deposits and then lend it out at really high interest rates. There's one called Celsius right now that is having trouble, and they're not letting people withdraw money right now. How disturbing is that? Now, Goldman Sachs, great article below, talking about how, hey, we want to buy these assets. We want to buy these crypto assets that people have and these accounts and things like that. Well, again, Goldman Sachs has said what a scam crypto was, just like JP Morgan did, but now they want to buy those assets. These guys are in bed with each other, okay? This is going to set up the digital dollar and the digital currency, and you guys are going to wake up and turn all your bills in, and we're not going to have dollar bills anymore. It's all going to be on your phone. You're all going to have the social credit scores and things like that with the banking. That's coming. But you can't make this stuff up. 1 week, they don't like these crypto assets. A week later, hey, we want to start buying some of those crypto assets. But again, Celsius, another exchange that people cannot withdraw money from. When do you get freaked out and worried if you're involved with any of these crypto assets? Crypto winter. This summer is what they're calling it. And these people are seeing that crypto assets have gone down an absolute ton. Now, I myself, I really want to see Bitcoin hit $8,000. I want to see it hit 16,000 so Michael Saylor can get his margin call. I want to see that. But I also believe that what we're living through right now is I want realization with this whole process and with assets. You guys can sit there and say gold is no good. What is good, guys? Real estate? I have people write me right now and tell me what an imbecile I am and that the real estate market's going to just explode and go higher. Now, understand this, that millions and millions of people are at risk of losing their homes right now for the simple fact that interest rates are going up and they've borrowed against these houses. So many people, you may live a fiscally conservative life. Hey, honey, we can't afford that car. Hey, maybe we shouldn't go on that vacation this time. There's people that actually say no to things, but there's a subset and a group of people that the rest of us market to that say, hey, buy this, buy that. And you know what they do? Where's my card? Where's my wallet? Oh, it's in the car. Let me go get it. It's like, I'm buy this. There's a lot of people that go out there and just piss their money away. They get paid on Friday, and Monday night they're looking, oh, can I get to borrow some money to get through the week? Got to get to Friday, got to get paid again. Now, not everybody lives that way. These banks and the Chinese situation should scare everybody. The runs at the Chinese bank are finally getting press 3 months later. 3 months later, you're finally hearing about bank runs in China. That's scary, guys. The ViStar Bank, where they couldn't get online, absolutely nuts. People have written me about certain apps that you can use to download to see if your website is down. You know what the number one problem is? The number one problem, 72% of all searches for down websites are banking related, 72%. That's comforting. You guys should look at this. It's very simple. Bank of America, basically, here in Southern California, is closed on Saturdays. And for giggles, on this Saturday video, I decided, let me see what banks are open. Close for Bank of America. It's an absolute joke. How anybody can bank there and be closed. And this week, with the holiday this last week, the thing that we ran into here was you had 4 days of no banking. And again, there used to be laws that said that you couldn't have banks closed for that long of a period of time, and that's just kind of like forgotten about. So since Dodd-Frank and since all these other rules were put into place after 2008 and the debacle there, you've got certain stress tests and things like that with banks. Credit unions, generally, if you walk into a credit union, you can say, hey, I want to see the balance sheet of the credit union. They'll basically show it to you. Bank of America is not going to do that. Bank of America doesn't care if you're there or not. If you have millions of dollars, I don't think that Bank of America cares for anybody. But make sure that you're prepared. What would you do if you could not get access to your money for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, 3 months? What would you do? Now, I get people that are on a fixed income. You guys are getting your pensions, you're getting Social Security. Have some cash in the house if something happened, okay? That's simple, okay? Not 80 grand, I'm not talking that. I'm just talking about enough to get by during that time, okay? Look at other debit cards, look at other places that you can have money into so that if you didn't have access to it, you could get access to your money. Now, the problem with ATM networks and things like that is a lot of banks are tied to the same network. So if one network goes down, and if it's a network problem, then they're all down. So you got to just look at that. And again, you can call it being paranoid, you can call it being whatever you want. Look at the Chinese problem right now. Look at that. And read the stories below. They're interesting to say the least. But CNN is finally talking about this, which, you know, okay, thanks, since April this has been going on. And you had to have me talk about it, you know, a few weeks ago. So share your thoughts on all this stuff and I'll let you know. We're getting set up for yoga out here, so I can't wait. Can't wait for yoga, okay? I was sent a very interesting video about real estate in New York. And this is fascinating. Real estate in New York is basically rent control when it comes to apartment rentals. And there are basically thousands and thousands of rentals in New York that are vacant right now because they don't want to rent them out because they cannot raise the rental rates. This one man in this one video lives in a building with 4 vacancies. And they can't raise the rent, so why bring somebody new in? They're hoping that the law is going to be changed, and that when the law is changed, they're going to be able to raise the rent. But there are, you know, thousands of rentals out there that are not available because people don't want somebody to live there. Because you would move in, and oh my gosh, look at how cheap my rent is. I live in New York City. I'm never going to move. That's what would happen. Okay. Now, this leads to the next thing, which is the eviction problem right now. It is estimated that 15% of the average people out there are behind in their rent, substantially. Substantially meaning 3 months, and that they're going to be evicted. Not, oh, I paid it late this month. Not those people. It is millions of people right now, 8 million people to be exact. So you've got 8 million people that could be evicted from their homes right now, and nobody's really talking about that. Look over here. This other stuff's important over here. Okay? So you're going to see an absolute abundance of people being evicted left and right this summer. With summer coming, a lot of people's leases run out in summer, which I find fascinating. I guess people move in summertime. But if you read the Bloomberg article, you'll see that a lot of people move during this time, and leases are up. But people are also getting the rents raised substantially in areas that they can raise those rents in. So it's gonna happen, guys. You're gonna see people that are gonna lose their homes, whether they rent or they have a mortgage. It's just gonna happen. So next thing is the Fed. The Fed right now has $540 billion in unrecognized losses from the purchases that they've made. Think about this. The Fed is buying assets, loans, and T-bills, and things like that, that basically are interest rate related. Because interest rates are going up, they're losing money on those assets. And no one's talking about this. The Fed has almost $9 trillion on its balance sheet. $9 trillion. They're talking about selling, 40 billion here, 40 billion there. It will take years. Last time I calculated it out, it was going to take 8.8 years to get rid of it if they sold it every day. But they're continuing to buy this week. So they've been purchasing everything this week, which is why you're seeing the stock market go up the way that it has. But what's going to happen with all these losses that are only going to grow right now? So the Fed's losses are only going to compound and be bigger, and no one's supposed to talk about this or think about it or raise an eyebrow or anything. Let the chips fall where they may, okay? Let people lose it. Companies are supposed to go out of business during an economic downturn. People are supposed to weather the storm. We're supposed to lose banks during this time. We're supposed to have consolidation of different businesses that work together. You're supposed to see builders go out of business. And again, we live in an era right now. Have you noticed this? That don't shh. Okay, it's all going to be okay. Look over here. Free lunch. It doesn't make any sense, guys. It makes zero sense. When you look at the Australian real estate problem, which is absolutely astronomical. Australia is going to be the first nation that's going to have massive foreclosures. And everybody that writes me from Australia, and look at the comments and the videos below, because you're going to see people do nothing but comment on this about how bad it is in Australia. These adjustable loans are killing people already. Absolutely putting them out of business because they had to be in a house, and sales are down for their company. And again, I know people in the biotech, med tech, medical device, pharmaceutical space in Australia, and business is off. Okay, even in that space, it's off. And they're not stupid. These are brilliant people. Okay, so you don't want to borrow money with an adjustable rate mortgage if you can. And again, people are like, Dan, you're crazy. Real estate's only going to go up. Dave Ramsey says it's going to go up. Oh, okay, that's it. Hurry up and wait, guys. People don't know the word patience anymore, and you're going to see things happen economically that we've never seen in our lifetime. And are you ready for that? Are you ready for banks that are closed for an extended period of time? What about these rental prices that are going up 20%? People are living in their cars. People are moving in with friends. You're seeing multiple families with children that didn't know each other that are living together. Okay, I'm telling you, you're going to see it here in Southern California because there's school district shenanigans. Kids are going to play in sports. They're going to have to live within a district. My son was one of those athletes that for some reason they kept pegging me and saying, hey, you got to come and show us the cable bill. You got to show us the electric bill. All that nonsense that I had to do time after time because of that. And people are going to have to deal with that. And they're going to have to live within these areas, and they're going to have to do desperate things like live with other families to get through this. So share your thoughts on this, guys. Let me know what you think, because this is getting worse, guys, before it gets much better. Do you remember a few months ago when the banking institutions were talking about, hey, we're going to get rid of overdraft fees, and we're going to do it, and Bank of America is going to do it, and all one after another decided they were going to do it. Well, this is proven to be incredibly costly to the banks. In just a few months, they've lost $4 billion during this time. So think about that. Think about over the last decade and a half, how much money banks have made in overdraft fees for people. You swipe your debit card, you don't realize you have the money, you get hit with those $35 charges. Man, they just made a killing doing that. Now, they're looking for other ways to charge us and figure out different ways, whether it be fees, Communication costs, which I love. That means you calling the bank, they're going to charge you for it. So they're coming up with different ways. Now, also, the thing that we're learning about more and more of is the crypto exchanges that are having monetary problems right now. There's a man named Sam Bankman-Fried who is a crypto billionaire, and this guy has stepped forward and he's going to bail out 2 more places by giving them a $250 million line of credit, BlockFi and Voyager. Sounds safe to me, guys. Again, I've asked this question dozens of times. What are cryptos a hedge against? Are they a hedge against inflation? Originally they said yes. Now they say no, Dan, you're stupid. When the stock market goes down, cryptos are going to be the way to invest. Okay, stock market goes down, cryptos go down. No, you don't understand, Dan. This is a hedge against our monetary policy. So if the world crashes, you're going to get to crypto. Okay, great. Now, if you guys believe that and you see all these places getting fleeced, there's that. And then there's Harmony, which again, Harmony was another place that had, with one of their products, had $100 million stolen recently. Again, stories below, another crypto exchange that had $100 million stolen from them. No big deal. Now, the next thing is gas prices. They're anticipating that hurricane season will be basically a normal to worse hurricane season this year. So it could be a little worse than we've had in the last couple years. Okay? So, think about it. They name all the storms, and then you've got all these problems. Now, they're saying gas prices are going to go up astronomically as a result of hurricane season, and that people don't know what they've got in store for them. Average gas price right now across the country, $4.93, which is sickening, okay, to say the least. So get ready for $2, $3, $4 more. Now, again, when you have a catastrophe and everybody's running out of town, gas stations, the bad ones, fleece people and do horrible things to people. But they're saying get ready, because if there is a natural disaster of any kind, that could affect oil, whether it be in the South or a refinery or anything like that. You're going to see prices absolutely catapult. And unlike anything we've seen, the $4.93 is nothing, they're saying. So get ready for that. Now, again, doesn't mean go and store gas. Here in Southern California, I used to get a kick out of the idiots on the news that would take things like gas cans and fill them up with gasoline and then put a lid on it and put it in their garage, and couldn't figure out why the fumes caused an explosion throughout the house. There was a TikTok video last month where a guy went out and filled his bed liner, put plastic in it, and filled the bed of his truck with gas. Hundreds of gallons of gas. Okay? Again, a walking imbecile. But, we're going to see things like that. Store it safely. Okay, it's not my responsibility to tell you guys to do that. But share your thoughts on all this stuff, guys. I really want to know what you think. We've talked a little bit about cryptocurrency today, and we're going to do one more story, and that is El Salvador. El Salvador did an experiment where they used Bitcoin as currency for their nation. And they're saying that this $425 million experiment has been an absolute bust, because their cryptocurrency, they paid over $44,000 for it. Guys, they've lost more than half the value. Here's the thing. The country is in huge trouble and may go out of business. They have to borrow right now to pay its bills $1 billion. $1 billion for El Salvador to get through the monetary trouble that they have right now. Crazy, guys. I'm going to finish this video with these last couple stories. Because of wheat prices, think about this. This is something that an escalating problem that affects other things. And worldwide, because there's a wheat shortage, companies are having problems with fuel prices. They're having problems with delivery. They're having problems with labor. They're having problems sourcing goods. They're saying that meat prices around the globe are going to completely explode. The biggest problem, again, Australia. It's going to start in Australia. So, gosh, poor Australians just keep getting beat up lately. The final thing, and this is sickening because we talked about this earlier, and that was Coinbase was hiring people. They had, we're going to hire 2,200 people, and they hired 1,200, and 1,000 people were basically not hired. A lot of these people were given offers for employment, and then the offers were rescinded. Well, what's good for one company is good for another. This is happening more and more. It's a woman, Janice Speller, who was going to go work for a healthcare company. She quit her job at the nonprofit, got a better job as a systems analyst there for a medical company, and quits her job, emails them on Friday and says, hey, really excited to start on Monday. Oh, logistically, we can't have you start on Monday. We're going to need you to start on Tuesday. Okay, fine, I'll start on Tuesday. Looking forward to it. Tuesday turns into Wednesday. Wednesday turns into Thursday. And then Friday, she's like, hey, when am I going to start? Well, we don't have the funding anymore. You don't have a job. Now, she quit her other job. But this is sickening, and this is happening more and more and more to people right now. So, guys, this reminds me. I learned a very valuable lesson in Hollywood, and that was a friend of mine told me, oh, you got a deal? You got a contract? You have nothing until the check clears the bank. Not the check that they hand you, that they're going to dangle in front of you, okay, until that check clears the bank. And this guy was an actor. He was on the Rockford File. He was on General Hospital, did all this stuff, and then eventually became a movie producer. Great guy. But this guy told me the most valuable lesson, which made me be real calm in Hollywood, and that is, Dan, you have nothing until that check clears the bank. Well, you guys don't have anything until you start that job. You got to remember that right now, because that's the problem with the way the world is right now, is things are broken. The world is broken right now. And you can believe what you want, but until you get that gig and you are there, don't count on it. And again, I'm telling people to double dip jobs. Don't quit your job until you have the other job. Oh, what a terrible thing to tell people. Okay? How do you think Miss Speller feels right now? Okay? Please do not forget to hit the like button, guys. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Okay? I'm going to join Mom Yoga in just a minute. Okay? For you guys. Okay? And go back to VidCon one more time. Subscribe button, like button. Onward and upward, guys. I will see you guys very soon. Don't forget to join the email list, and if you want more access to me, there is Patreon, and I'll see you guys very soon.